It's BMG Radio! This week, we look at 300, 3 More Furious, and Feeding My Addiction, and lots of other stuff. Let's get to it. Brought to you by the Bearded Movie Guy. Hi there, Movie Guy. This is BMG Radio. This is the 3rd installment, and I just want to thank everyone for all the support so much they've given me so far in me doing this little podcast thing. I think it's pretty awesome. I'm enjoying it, so I'm hoping you're enjoying it, and thank you so much. So let's get straight to the news. First off, we have 3, count them, 3 more Fast and the Furious movies coming. Vin Diesel has said he's a producer, let's start that, on the Fast and Furious movies. He has been for quite a few years. And he's in charge of picking the next director. And he said he's not going to be comfortable picking the next director till he's figured out who the next 3 directors are going to be. Which is kind of crazy, but he has said he wants to do 3 more movies to finish off the franchise. So we'll have 10 Fast and the Furious movies altogether. And, I don't know. I just, at this point, they ended it off on 7 with, like, you know, it's one of the biggest movies ever, which is kind of sad, but also kind of cool for Paul Walker. They ended it off on a good note with Paul Walker's character. He's driving off into the sunset. Spoiler, if you didn't know. And it's just, why are they making 3 more? Now, why are they making 3 more? Because this was one of the biggest movies ever. And they're just like, we can keep doing that for a couple times. Why not? But at the same time, what else are they going to do at this point? Like, they've kind of done everything. And I'm just not sure where they're going to go with the franchise. Hopefully it'll be cool, but it does kind of sound like a cash grab. Just calling it like I see it on that one. All right, next. The trailer came out for a movie called The Big Short. Now, I've never heard of this, but I watched the trailer. I'm going to link you the trailer right here. You can click on that link, and it will go to the trailer. And when you're done with the trailer, you come back. I'll be right here, so you won't have missed anything. This trailer has Christian Bale, Brad Pitt, Steve Carell, and Ryan Gosling, and it's all about some guys who figured out that the banks were being bad before the big money crunch that happened a while back, where the whole bailouts and stuff. And they're like, the banks are betting on bad, like they're doing bad loans on purpose. And so these guys actually bet against the banks and decided to take advantage of it. Now, that cast, you got Christian Bale and Brad Pitt in a movie together, and then throw in Steve Carell and Ryan Gosling. It is freaking like, this could be a boring throwaway movie. But with that cast, this should be something pretty interesting to watch. Watch the trailer, let me know what your thoughts are on it. I was interested once I saw the trailer. I watched it a couple times, and yeah, Christian Bale's character looks really funny. And overall, I'm really interested to see this movie. It looks like it could be a bit of Oscar bait. Maybe, I don't know, but we'll see what happens. Last bit of news I want to talk about is Hugh Jackman. Wonderful Hugh Jackman, the guy who has been Wolverine for 7 times and plans to do it at least 2 more times, maybe 1 more after that for a very short thing. They're talking maybe he's going to be as a cameo in Deadpool, maybe not. He has come out publicly, apparently, and picked his next successor on who he wants to take over being Wolverine. Hugh Jackman has named Tom Hardy as who he thinks should take over the franchise. Now, Tom Hardy hasn't been contacted as far as I know. Tom Hardy hasn't been pitched. This is just Hugh Jackman, as the guy who's been playing the character forever, coming out and saying, you know what, if you're asking me who should take over this series, I think it should be Tom Hardy. I think that's a huge awesomeness kind of thing for Tom Hardy. That must be nice, like, regardless whether he takes a role or not, regardless whether he becomes Wolverine, to have the guy who plays Wolverine go, you should do the next job. And Tom Hardy, I think Tom Hardy could knock this out of the park. Tom Hardy can knock anything out of the park. That guy is a phenomenal actor. He's probably one of the best actors working today. So Wolverine would not be hard for him, and I think it would be pretty cool. Now, he may not take it because he's so busy doing everything else, but this could be something great for him. And this could be something great for the franchise, because you don't want to kill off Wolverine just because it's stupid killing off Wolverine. You want to use him again, just change out actors, give him someone awesome. And I think Hugh Jackman has picked someone as a successor who would do a good job. All right, that's it for the movie news. Now we're going to go to Feeding My Addiction. Feeding My Addiction is what I've now decided to call my Blu-ray update, or what I've been buying lately. whether it be Blu-rays, toys, comic books, whatever. I've actually bought a few things this week, or last week, I guess. Yeah, it was last week since I've done this, but it doesn't matter. I was in a store called HMV, which I don't know if I know they have it in Britain. I don't know if they have it in America, but it's kind of like for your entertainment or kind of like that kind of store. They sell a lot of movies and Blu-rays and stuff. And I was walking around and I found 2 for $20 steelbooks, and I was just, it hurt me because I didn't want to spend $20, but I was like, ooh. And the first one I found was Dr. Strangelove, and the cover's really cool, so I was just like, ooh, oh, that hurts. So I'm like, okay, what else can I find? Where's the other 2 for $20? And I came across, there was a couple that I came across, but the one that grabbed me because I'm a huge Bill Murray fan is Stripes. And so for $20, I got Dr. Strangelove and Stripes in Steelbook, and I'm quite happy. Now, next day, I was at a place called Deja Vu Discs, and they don't have these in the States. I know that. They don't have them in England. This is a Canadian thing. It's a Toronto thing, actually. But it's basically a place you go to sell your movies and CDs and stuff, and they guarantee that they'll work. And I've never had a bad problem with them, and I bought a ton of used. I buy used all the time if I can, because it's cheaper. And they had a sale going on, so for $5 each, I got Source Code, which is awesome, and I got Dracula 2000. Now, before anyone goes, Dracula 2000 is not a bad movie. It's kind of a fun movie. You got Gerard Butler as an Irish vampire, as an Irish Dracula. You know, it's like he totally loses the accent, or Scottish. He's Scottish, isn't he? He's Scottish, yeah. Scottish, right? I don't know. I think you're Scottish, sir, but I could be wrong. Anyway, you got him as Dracula when he's really young. And the reason I originally wanted to see this movie is Nathan Fillion has a tiny, tiny role as a priest, and it's just hysterical to see him as a priest. And it's not funny at all. It's just he's purely there as a priest, and it's Nathan Fillion. Also, there's Johnny Lee Miller, who I've always been a fan of since Hackers. And it was $5 on Blu-ray. I already owned it on DVD, so now I own both. I'm happy. So that's what I've been buying lately. That was my feeding my addiction. And yeah, let me know what you've been buying lately. If you've got any good deals, if you've got any ideas of things I should be buying, let me know. I'd love to hear about it. Next, we're going to move to 60 Seconds of Awesome. As Bear Movie Guy, 60 Seconds of Awesome. This is where Bear Movie Guy talks about 60 Seconds of Awesome. Yeah, you just heard me speak twice the same thing. Let's get to it. Brought to you by the Bear Movie Guy. Today in 60 Seconds of Awesome, I'm going to be talking about someone named Sylvester Stallone. Do you know him? Do you know this man? This man, I've been watching his older movies, and I gotta say, this man has been ripped for 40 years now. Like, he's maybe 30, I don't know. He's been ripped for a very long time. This man has basically been acting, and whether you think he's the best actor ever, no, he's not. But he has been acting solidly for the last 30 plus years, and I gotta give it to him. His body has stayed the same. In fact, he actually looks more ripped now than he did when he was younger. So I just wanted to give a big shout out to Sylvester Stallone. I think he's been killing it for years, and I know the Expendable movies have kind of gone downhill, but the man has done some awesome work, and I think we need to appreciate it for him. It's been 60 Seconds of Awesome. Who do you think should be in next week's 60 Seconds of Awesome? Let Bear Movie Guy know. Alright, now I'm going to move to a new segment I'm going to call YouTuber of the Week, and it's just where I highlight one of my friends that I believe needs some more highlighting. And the first person I am going to highlight is a guy that I think has been doing an excellent job. He works a full-time job, he gets to talk about movies, he has a full-time life with 3 kids and a wife, and his name is Elias Guerra. And he does Guerra's Movie House, and he loves movies. And let me just tell you, this guy, if you haven't checked out his channel yet, he is one of the hardest working guys that puts a lot of effort and detail into what he does. And he also can be very relaxed in camera. He has no problem having a drink while he's talking. And he's quite willing to be open and honest about who he is and what he does. And just that he loves movies. If you haven't checked out his channel, it's Guerra Movie House. I'm going to link it in the bottom below. Or there's a little annotation that just linked up in the corner right now that will link you to his channel if you want to go check it out. Check out Guerra Movie House. The guy does a great job, and he just loves movies, and it totally shows in what he does. Next up, I'm going to Letterboxd. Letterboxd is the site where I talk about all my movies, and I'm just going to call that, this is my update on what movies I've been watching lately. Now, I have hit 300 movies watched for the year. My 300th movie I watched this year was Men in Black, and I watched it with my daughters and wife. And I took it to the library, and they'd never seen it, and they're kind of iffy on alien movies, so I'm just like, no, you'll like it, it's fun. And then they loved it. It's a fun movie. Men in Black is totally a good time. It was when Will Smith was kind of on the cusp of being a huge star, but kind of not yet. And it's fun. I don't like the second one. Third one's better. First one's the best, though. It's fresh and new, and it's a good time. Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith together is totally fun, and I give it 3 beards out of 5. Next up was movie night at the BMG household, and everyone gets a choice after the other, and so my oldest daughter, Mara Jade, picked Jurassic Park, because Jurassic Park is awesome. Jurassic Park is awesome, let me tell you. I love that movie. It does have some flaws. There's certain things in it that bug the heck out of me, such as, I don't know, I don't want to get into it, I'll be honest. There's certain things in the movie that it's scripting, that I'm just like, that shouldn't be, and that shouldn't be, and why did, and this and that. But overall, the movie is just an amazing thrill ride that Steven Spielberg put together. The dinosaurs look great, just as great as they look then. They still look great. It holds up. CGI very rarely holds up as well as it does in Jurassic Park. And it's partly because part of it was animatronics. They blended it so well. There's times when you're like, wow, that's incredible. And you're like, you wouldn't know, it's a puppet. I love the big thing with the Triceratops where it's like, that's a puppet. And people thought it was all CGI, but it's a puppet. And it's just great. And there's a picture, of course, of Steven Spielberg sitting in front of it, and people went nuts because they thought he killed a dinosaur because they're stupid. But no, Jurassic Park is a great time. It's totally fun. Again, I have issues with it mainly due to scripting, but overall, it's such a fun time, and I give it 4 beards out of 5, which is the exact same score I gave to Jurassic World, in case you're wondering. Next up, I watched Rambo, First Blood Part 2, and Rambo 3. I'm going to talk about them separately. Rambo, First Blood Part 2 is the continuation. Kind of takes place right after Rambo, where he's been in prison for a while, and they send him in to look for POWs in Vietnam, where he's not supposed to find any, and of course what happens? He finds some, and they leave him stranded, and he doesn't like that. This is, again, Sylvester Stallone. I've been watching a lot of Sylvester Stallone movies, and the guy was ripped, and the guy really gave a good performance as Rambo. Sure, the guy doesn't speak a lot. There used to be a big joke going around that Sylvester Stallone didn't get paid an outright fee in Rambo. He got paid for every word he spoke because Rambo speaks so little. And I think that's an urban legend more than anything else, but it is funny. He doesn't speak that much, but he gives a really great performance, and that carries over to Rambo 3. Rambo 3 is the lesser film of the 3. It's still fun, and I have so many fond memories of it. I watched it at a birthday party, one of my birthday parties, and we kept on rewinding the guy. There's a guy who gets a rope wrapped around his neck, and he's trying to fight Rambo, and Rambo pulls a grenade off his chest and kicks him down a hole, and the guy explodes. And we rewound that at least 20 times, just having him go up the hole and down the hole and up the hole and down the hole, and just exploding and then bringing his molecules back together. VHS tapes. Oh, good times. So Rambo First Blood Part 2 and Part 3 are both fun, good movies to include in the saga, and I give them each 3 beards out of 5. So that's what I've been watching lately. Let me know what you've been watching. You can follow me on Letterboxd, and you can check my diary and see the reviews I've been writing for what I've been doing. And I would love to follow you, so let me know when you're on there. Last, we get to the question section. Questions, I've gotten about 5 this week. So let's get right to that. First off, the hardest question I've got is from my buddy Tim Hurley. Tim asks, what is a non-orchestral song that you would think would be perfect in a movie? So non-orchestral means, of course, there has to be singing in the song, and that's so hard because there's so many songs out there, and you're like, oh, that one, and you're like, oh, that's probably been used in a movie already, and so I'm gonna pick something from a band called POD, and it's called Payable in Death, and they have a song called Lie Down, and I think it would make a great montage song for either a training thing or possibly when people are getting assassinated by hitmen in a montage, which sounds really weird, but I think it could possibly fit perfectly for that. Next up, I got from Dan Bardo. He says, apparently there's another Rush Hour movie coming, an Austin Powers movie coming, an Independence Day. What are my thoughts? Well, Independence Day, I've kind of talked on before that it's going to happen. They're doing it. I'm hoping it's going to be good. It could be good. It could be bad. I don't know. Austin Powers, I think, was played out long ago, and I think Mike Myers needs to. If he wants to make a comeback, he should do it just in a solid movie and not rely on Austin Powers. But, you know, I understand it's a thing that was good in the past, so he might want to reinvest into that, but I don't know. I would leave that alone. And as for Rush Hour, yeah, I never saw Rush Hour 3. I loved Rush Hour 1 and 2 in some ways, and then it just kind of wore off, and yeah, it just, doing one now just seems weird. Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan don't need each other, I don't think. Maybe Chris Tucker needs Jackie Chan, but Jackie Chan definitely doesn't need Chris Tucker. He's one of the most highest paid actors in the world. So I don't think he needs to do that. I think he's doing a lot of good quality work over in China and Hong Kong, and I think he should just keep doing that. Marion Wells, who's an old friend of mine, says, what TV show would I like to see make a post-TV series movie? Oh, that's a hard one. Other than another Serenity movie, which I would love, because that'd be awesome. TV shows that turn into movies, they're hard to pull off, and there isn't one that's sticking out in my mind that I could think of that I would love to see. Maybe Angel from the Angel series, but I think it's been too long. That there was talk for a long time of them doing an Angel movie, but it never happened, and so I think it's probably been too long now. But other than that, nah, there isn't anyone. I'll be honest, there's nothing else I can think of that I really want to be made into a movie from a TV show. I'm sure I'll think about it as soon as I've done editing this, and then be like, oh, that was one. But yeah, I can't. There's nothing I can come up with right now. Mark Bardo asks, do you think there will be a Timverse DC Universe show again? And Timverse, if you don't know, is Bruce Timm is the guy responsible. Partly, he's hugely responsible for the DC animated universe and the way it's gone. And with Batman the animated series, and Superman, and then Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. And I love them. Apparently they're working on a Justice League Unlimited or Justice League TV show, another one. And he is involved in it somehow. I'm hoping, that's what I heard last, but I'm hoping that continues and that they get that up in the next little while. If that happens, I will watch. I'm a huge Justice League fan. I'm a huge Batman animated series fan. It's probably the best animated TV show ever. And he is hugely influential in my life. Just things he has made have impacted me in a huge way. So I'd love to see them allow him to bring back a TV show centered around the Justice League, especially that just allows him to shine and kind of do what he does. Last question is I got on Twitter from Jack's Channel of Stuff, who was awesome. If you haven't checked out his channel, check out Jack's Channel of Stuff. He said, Hayden Christensen is being rumored as Vader for Episode 8. What do I think? I got one word for that. No. Yeah, no, I don't. Why? No. No, don't do that. There's no reason to. No, don't. Just don't. I don't, no. No. Okay, so yeah, no. The answer is no. I don't want them to. And I think it'll just hurt. I think they should just distance themselves from the prequels as much as they can and just leave it alone. So that is it this week for BMG Radio. Thanks for listening. Check out my regular channel, Bearded Movie Guy. I've been slowly getting things out. Lately, my life has been a little chaotic. Just on a personal note, if you're still listening, that means you probably care about me as a person, and I thank you for that. And so I'll let you know what's going on in my life. Last week, I got diagnosed with having diabetes, which is crappy. I'll put it that way. It's not the end of the world. It's type 2 diabetes. I don't have to take the shots and stuff, but I do have to check my blood regularly, and I do have to take medication for it. And so that's what's been going on. It's been very hectic, but I have been able to get a few new videos out on my regular channel, and I'm really enjoying doing BMG Radio. So I thank you for your support, And just, yeah, my life has been hectic, but it's good getting to do this. And thank you for listening this long, and that means you care about me. That means you think I'm doing something good and you want to support it. So thank you so much. As always, you can follow me on Letterboxd, Twitter, and YouTube. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel already, I'd really appreciate it. I've got 17 subscribers so far, which to me is a huge deal for BMG Radio. I have 317 regular subscribers on my other channel, so I think that's pretty funny that I have 300 less, but that's okay. I appreciate every single one of you who subscribe, and I want to thank you for all your support, and let me know if there are any questions, comments, concerns, anything you want me to talk about on BMG Radio, and until next time, thanks for listening, and stay bearded. And as always, your top 7.